everyone sort of understands that if something drastic happens with Deshaun Watson, he's suspended indefinitely, that the Browns might just trade for Jimmy to be their starter this year, which could be a big-time trade. This all depends on an independent judge, Sue Robinson, making a decision. And there's been all kind of speculation as to when she would. I thought some people might have said she'd be done by now, but this looked like it could go down another week or two. Does the fact that she's taking such a long time mean anything to you?
Well, yeah, I do think they're thinking about what's going to be the next step from Watson. How's he going to respond? Charles Robinson from Yahoo's got a report out that he may sue the NFL if the suspension finds him missing out on the entire season. So if he's going to countersue the NFL and they've got to consider what a counter lawsuit may look like, yeah, they're probably very circumspect about filing this and making sure that they're on solid ground before they do.
Right. Like if she were just recommending a 5 or 6 game suspension, I don't think Watson would debate much. And I don't know if the NFL would be upset with that. I think all sides might be happy with that. But if she says like a year minimum with, the option to reevaluate next year, I mean, maybe Watson, as you said, would sue, and maybe she's sort of making a case for why such a strong response is important. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I've seen you and I've read the same things. I'm sure that it could be as short as like a month or 6 weeks, that there may be no suspension at all. I mean, I've seen that. Then I've also seen that, this suspension could go longer than a year. And it sounds like if it's a part year suspension, that maybe the Browns are willing to go with Jacoby Brissett and maybe acquire kind of a backup type quarterback to just be there in addition to Josh Dobbs, I believe, as their kind of emergency guy. Maybe would not have interest in Jimmy if indeed it was like a 4 or 6 game suspension. So, it's like, and then of course there's new speculation about other teams like the New York Giants and that kind of thing. So, I mean, the Watson thing seems like we don't really have a handle on either when it's coming down, though we expect it soon, or what the penalty will be. Though I think most people are expecting 8+ games, but now we're hearing reports that it could be half that.
Yeah, I mean, for her to take this long, it makes me feel like she's almost anticipating the appeal. Like she knows it's going to be a lot and that Watson's going to appeal, and she's already sort of making her case for why the appeal shouldn't hold grounds. Or she's just creating the perception that she's uncovered every stone and really thought about this, because it's going to be very controversial one way or another, whatever she decides.
The interesting thing as far as how it pertains to the Niners is that from what I've read, Grant, the Browns have written it into the contract, all kinds of stipulations that will protect them upon a suspension as far as salary cap commitments to Watson. So Jimmy's, somewhat large contract may not be a big deal if indeed there is a lengthy suspension, because sounds like they'll get some relief on the Watson contract.
Yeah, my only question with Jimmy to the Browns is, didn't the Browns sign Jacoby Brissett knowing that this could possibly happen with Deshaun Watson? Like, wasn't he the backup plan? And do they really feel that Jimmy Garoppolo is like $24 million better than Jacoby Brissett? Is that worth it for them?
Yeah, I mean, I my guess on that would be no. But if they felt like, are they willing to go the full year with Jacoby Brissett in a year where they've spent a lot of, they have a lot of cap room, but they have a very impressive roster. So they've got a Super Bowl caliber roster. With that, are they prepared to go with Brissett at quarterback the whole year? Or was Brissett the guy that they got because they got whispers about a month or a 6-week long suspension, and he's kind of just viewed as a stopgap guy? See, I think if it's 6 weeks, they're fine with Brissett. But if it's the full year, I bet you they're not fine with Brissett. And I think that they would want Jimmy. Now, they may want Jimmy still at a quite a bit lesser price than what his current contract states, and that could complicate things too.
Okay, so it seems like the only team really willing and able to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo as a starter right now is Cleveland. They have a spot available, and they have the cap space to do it.